This is Jeff from Alpha Media Group. I'm here with Erik from Full House Junk Removal in Star, Idaho, just outside of Boise. How you doing today, Erik?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you.
Well, you just got back from the Florida Keys with your wife, so I imagine
Yes,
that was a great time.
it's
And
awesome.
then you just had a big transition in your life, right? So
Yes,
I
sir.
wanted to talk about that a little bit in just a minute here. But before we talk about you retiring from the force and coming on to junk removal full time and your business full time, give me a little bit of a background of you relocating out to Idaho and getting into the police force because you're not originally from Idaho, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So when I was a kid, we lived here in Idaho in Boise, and back in 1985, when I was 15 years old, we moved back to California, just because the economy wasn't that great here at the time, and so we lived in California until I was 36 years old. But at the time, had been working as a police officer in California for about 9 years, and our kids were 5 and 2 at the time, and I really did not want to raise my kids in the Bay Area. It was just being in law enforcement. I saw a lot of things that I didn't want to. I didn't want my kids to have to grow up seeing, and so we looked to come back up to Idaho. My parents had already retired and moved back to Idaho, so we came up here to visit, and my wife and I just fell in love with this area. So I applied for Boise Police Department and got hired in 2006, and I worked for them for the last 14 years, 14, 15 years. Yeah. So I just retired as a police officer after 24 years. Yep.
24 years. Well, thank you for your service. It's
Thank
not
you.
just veterans, but it's people like yourself that keep our communities safe and free. And I have a lot of respect for officers, and
Oh, we
that's
appreciate it.
where I stand. So, first responders, officers, and vets, we get to have the freedoms that we do business, do free enterprise, have our streets a little safer. So, thank you for your time of service. I know it wasn't always a walk in the park, especially
Oh,
recently with a
oh
lot
yeah.
of the drama that's going on in our little universe here. But I'm happy to have you on this side. Wonderful having you as a client and having you with our team of brand builders. So tell us how you came up with the idea of Full House Junk Removal.
Back December of 2019, I had neck surgery, and I had to have 4 through 6, I think, fused in my neck. And so I was on light duty as a police officer for several months. And during that time, I started realizing I probably could not be the police officer I once was. I did a lot of things as a police officer. I was in SWAT. I was a motor sergeant. I was in the gang unit. I did a lot of things that were pretty dangerous. And I just realized getting older that I couldn't do a lot of the things that I once did. And I knew I had a long ways to go before I could completely retire from working. And so I was just on the internet looking at, I was on YouTube, just kind of, how you search YouTube and you just start watching videos and you get down that rabbit hole. And I came across Matt and JoJo out in California. And I think everybody that knows anything about junk removal has seen them 100 times.
I've heard of them.
And
I've heard of
yeah,
them 100 times. Yeah, I
yeah,
know Matt and
and
JoJo. They're good people. Yeah.
yeah, and I've never met either one of them, but I just started watching their videos, and then I started thinking, well, heck, I could probably do that. And I've always been the type of mentality where I've wanted to run my own business, but you kind of get handcuffed to your career, no pun intended, but where you rely on that constant paycheck and the good benefits and the retirement program, and you get where you don't think to go out and do anything else. But I was in the point where I started looking to do something else because obviously the drama of law enforcement for the last 5 years has been horrific. I mean, the media has been our country's worst enemy, I believe, because they are really selling a bag of goods to people about what we do and what we don't do, and only selling the negative side of what happens. And it's caused a lot of people to leave the career field or not even join it anymore. And it's going to be, I think, very detrimental to our country. So I started looking about something I could do when I retire And after seeing the Matt and JoJo videos, and it was just entertaining, and I'm still in decent physical shape, and I knew I could do that kind of work. So I just jumped in and started doing it on my days off and before work. And I remember my very first job was on my 23rd anniversary with my wife, and my dad went and helped me. So me and my wife and my dad went and did the first job, and I think I made $300 or $400, and I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. And again, I wanted to think about a branding name that could go with me wherever I went, that was not specific to the area I was in case I ever moved. I could always take that with me and wouldn't have to rebuild it. And I wanted to, a play on words type of thing. And that's where I came with Full House. And then that spawned the deck of cards as my logo. And then when I contacted you guys, we got in connection, and one of your folks designed my logo for me, and it's awesome. And as you can see, this is my new logo. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but
I love it. Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I get so many compliments in the Valley here about my logo. They just love it. They're just like, wow, that's awesome. I stopped off at a metal recycling place one time. I had never been there before. And a guy comes running out to my truck, and he's like, "You're Full House. You're Full House." And I go, "Yeah, we're Full House." And he goes, "We watch all your videos, and we see you on Facebook." And I was cracking up. That the metal recycling guys are watching my videos and stuff. It was just funny. So that's how I got Full House. So that's
right.
where we're at.
Well, it's interesting you bring up the videos, because I talk a lot about that in marketing, and I tell people, look, okay, I know we're focused on Google, we're focused on the organic search, but you just talked about how you came into the industry was through YouTube videos, and then how clients are seeing you is through your YouTube videos. And it's the branding, and that's such a big part of branding, is they're being able to see you, your personality. I love watching how you teach. I really do. I think one of the reasons you do so well is I think you're a great student. You're one of the few that leans in and says, "Hey, where's my homework?" And I love that, because it shows that you want to learn, and people that actually put in the work and do it, they get the results. So doing the videos now, when you go research, Idaho junk removal, you pop up. I mean, you don't just pop up, you pop up like the first 6 in a row, so you've really put out some really great content. But what was it like doing the videos from first starting until now you're getting more used to them? What has the journey been like with that?
It's very uncomfortable. I'm not a camera person. I try not to look at myself in the camera. So like when we're doing this right now, I don't even look up, because I can see my picture from the top, and I don't even want to, because that's not me. I'm not Mr. Photogenic type dude. But recording them, and because you're not really having a conversation with somebody, you're just kind of talking. And so it's much harder to do, especially when I started off. I remember my first video, I even posted it on Facebook, and I go, here's my first video, don't laugh. Because it was horrendous. It was horrendous.
I love it.
Now it's a little easier. And again, I can't look at the video when I'm recording. I have to just kind of, that's why a lot of times I'll be in my truck and I'll have my sunglasses on, because I'm looking all over places. I'm not really looking at the camera, because I'm not a actor. So I'm not acting, but I feel like an actor trying to do his speech or whatever. But it's gotten easier. The more you do them, the easier it gets. You just got to keep doing them, and remembering to do them. I mean, I'll go to jobs, and after I'm done, I'm like, oh man, I forgot to shoot a video. It's constant. Constant, because you get there and you want to help the customers, and you're focused on your customer service, and you're not really focused on shooting a video. But I try to remember to do it as much as I can. But yeah, it gets easier. The more you do, the easier they get. And some people are going to be way better at it than me, because they're just photogenic type people, and that's their realm, and they love it. I mean, you're the guy who's always in front of the videos. That's not me. I can have a conversation with somebody. It's a lot easier to do that and be on the video than to just sit by myself or shoot it by myself. It's awkward.
Well, I've gone through my own awkwardness, and I won't bring up his name, but one of the top YouTubers in junk removal is Shy. I'm not going to say who it is, but you know him, and we'll just leave it there. But I
Okay.
had a conversation sitting with him in person, and we just started shooting some video. I'm like, wow, he goes through his own challenges trying to do video. And for me, it just became something, but I trace it back. I'm like, okay, where did it start? Where did I feel comfortable teaching in front of crowds? Because I've taught large crowds. I've been in front of crowds of thousands, hundreds, da da da. Not trying to boast here, just but it was a process. And I remember when I'd first get in front of crowds, my palms would be all sweaty and I'm nervous and feel my heart rate go up a little bit. I'm like, where did it start? And I'm one of those, like, I'm a driver personality, as you probably figured out by now. It's not a surprise to you, but you throw me in the water, then I'm going to check if there's water afterwards. Then I'm going to swim, right?
Right.
Or as we say, ready, fire, aim, ready, fire, aim.
Right.
So you learn to adjust afterwards. And so when I was younger, I'm 42 now, so I would say early 20s. My friend took me to a karaoke bar in San Jose,
Mm.
4th Street Bowl. Okay. And so he gets up and he's a really good singer. And I grew up in San Jose, so I listen to country music and I listen to like Christian worship and stuff now. But back then, that wasn't my music of choice. My music of choice was rap music. That's what people were listening to when I was younger. That's what I listened to. So that's all I knew. I said, well, I know a rap song. I could try that, and see how it goes. And so I go up there, and the place is pretty desolate, except these guys that are sitting right in front. They don't look like you and me. They look like the front line to the Eagles, okay, or the Dallas Cowboys, okay. So just big old guys, and kind of looking up. I'm like, oh man, okay, I'm gonna give this a try. So I'm sweating, I'm nervous, but I was pretty familiar with the song, and then so I come down off the stage, and these guys they look at me like, damn, that boy's good. We like him. He was all right. And they just started clapping. I was like, oh my gosh, and I just got this like assurance, like it built up that little bit of confidence that
Right.
I needed.
Yep.
And whereas I thought I'm going to get up there and like embarrass myself, insult these gentlemen, and they were just like, man, you were great. We liked you.
Right.
It was like, okay. And then it just became more about, hey, can I be at ease with myself? Can I be entertaining? I stumble on my words. But I work as a writer. And when I was younger, I was diagnosed as dyslexic. But I had to do special reading assignments from my mom would make me read because I struggled with it. So now that's my strong suit. Now I actually do that as a career. As you know, as part of Alpha Media Group, I'm one of the content creators. But
Right.
I was such an awful writer because and I couldn't public speak very well because trying to read the words and refer back to them, it really messed me up. So I had to learn how to memorize for tests. I had to learn how to really get good at it because it was such a I guess if you want to call it like a disability. I think it was a disguised gift, as I want to say, because now it ends up being my career. I relate it back to like Jim Abbott, who you might remember was a baseball player. He had one hand, and he learned how to throw with just one hand. And it's like, okay, you're a pitcher and you have one hand. That's just not something I would have thought would be the career outcome. So I didn't ever think that writing would be a career for me. Like that's what I would do for a living. But I feel that God uses those things, right? Those fears, those things. And now, how cool is that? You're watching Matt and JoJo, but now somebody's watching you on video. And it's like, it's the Full House guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's crazy.
I love it. So I have a question for you. So a lot of people, when I say branding, they'll relate it to like logo, right? And us married guys, marriage is so much more. I'm guessing for your sake too, I'll throw you under the bus with me. There's a lot more than we probably assumed when we were single guys getting married, right? As we peel the layers back and unwrapped, and we've been married for a long time, you learn that, hey, there's a lot more to this. What have you learned as if you peel the layers back with branding besides it just being an image or a logo? You've heard me teach a lot on branding. You've learned a lot on it. I've seen you apply, I've seen you grow in it. Give me your perspective of the more than a logo definition of branding.
So I would say it's for me, it's building a relationship in with my customers and the community in general. So a lot of it is the online relationship with them, and relating to those people that are going to be my future customers, and identifying the problems that they need to have solved, which in our cases, they have junk and they need it gone, and they want to have a relationship with people as far as when they're going through and they're trying to find somebody that they want to work for them. I think when they see your videos or they know you on Facebook or LinkedIn and all this, and they've developed a relationship with you, it's not like they're hiring a stranger anymore. They're hiring somebody that they know, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Working on all those platforms, I try to post, if not every day, every other couple of days on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and Instagram. I will post something about my business or what I've been doing. And like you said one time, is don't always put everything about your business. So I've even put in stuff like when we were on our vacation in the Florida Keys, I posted pictures of me and my wife on my business page as well, because I think people relate to that. People would love to go to the Florida Keys, and they're married, and they have spouses, and they're doing things. And when you look on Facebook, people are posting pictures of them and their spouses and their vacations and what have you. So you're doing exactly what they do. And so building that brand of I'm just part of their family, basically.
Wonderful. And that's a big key, is that you're building that trust already with people, because people want to work with people they trust, right? Not just a name or an image. You are the brand. And that's what I try to get people to see. It's like, okay, they come on as clients. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to be this person on this Facebook page, but I'll be this person on LinkedIn. I'll be this person over there. The human being is not designed to be a bunch of different people. I'm going to have a different relationship with my son than I am going to have with Erik Tyner, right? I'm not going to put you in timeout and regulate how much sugar you can have, right? That's not our relationship.
Right.
But I'm going to be me in front of him. I'm still the same person. There's a difference in relationship. So I think when people try to do that online, it's very counterintuitive, but it's confusing to the customer too. When people come in and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to be this person over here. And it might be a good person. It's not like, hey, they're trying to be a shady person over here, this person over here. But I think we've all been inundated by these gurus and different people that are kind of putting out a persona that I think the consumer got tired of. It's like, we just want to see real people. You talk about, actors, right? Or a celebrity. Someone that's a celebrity is just has, or someone who's not, has the same amount of chance to be popular or be notarized or be sought after online, because we're in the day of the influencer, where anybody can come up in that area, whatever area they're in, and be recognized. So I think people really want to see genuine. They want to see valid. They want to see, okay, well, I saw this Erik Tyner. I saw Full House junk removal. Maybe I saw an ad first. Now I'm going to go behind the scene. I'm going to go peel back the curtain and see if this guy's the real deal, which he is. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go watch the videos. Oh, wow, he's educating people. He's not asking to just close a deal. He's actually trying to help his community. And that's the feeling I get from Full House, if I'm a consumer, is that you guys are really out there helping the community. That's how I would describe your brand. In your words, how would you describe the brand of Full House?
I would say that's it. I'm trying to provide a service to the community. An example would be our local fire station was collecting metal to so that they could recycle it, so that they could raise money for a new workout facility. And so I actually shot a video of us bringing the metal there, because I thought, well, maybe somebody else will see that video. And I think I even said in the video, hey, if you have any metal, call us. We'll bring it right here and drop it off. And so yes, absolutely. By going out and serving the community, you're helping them. So that's absolutely what we want to do.
Great. Everybody's out in these, different groups. You and I and a team. I call it our group. We don't get into all the details because we keep Fight Club a little bit secret. But someone who just came into this business brand new a week, but you've been doing the business for about a year, correct? Part time.
1 year, yeah.
How has brand builders and the people in the group? I'm not talking just about you and me and our relationship, but how has the team helped you in your business with Full House junk removal? What are some points you can give that brand builders has helped build up your business? In your own words, what would you describe has been the most beneficial?
It's been awesome. Absolutely awesome. I've learned so much from guys when it comes to Google My Business. Matt Moses, awesome. before he came on as AMG, I actually reached out to him several weeks before that and said, "Hey, can you help me with this?" And he was like, "No problem." He was jumped on there. He logged in and was helping me on that. Alex McIntyre, got on the phone with him a couple of times. Me and him just hit it right off, and we're just talking. Several of the guys I've spoken to on the phone or on Messenger, and just communicating all sorts of different ideas and plans on how to run your business, because most of those guys have all been in the business a lot longer than me and have made all the mistakes already, or most of the mistakes, and so that they're very helpful and very do this, do that, and I always say, I was never a good police officer. I just stole all the good ideas from other people, and I just adopted them as my own, and that's exactly what I've done. I'm not a smart man, but I know how to I know how to steal good ideas and
right.
and good options. And so Joshua Sperling, he was the guy that kind of introduced me to you. Somehow I don't even remember, it was like a year ago when me and him connected on Facebook one night, and we were chatting, and then next thing you know, we're on a phone call, and then he goes, "You need to talk to this guy, Jeff Glass." And next thing you know, I'm hooked up with you, and all those people have just given me so many ideas. And I usually don't, when we're having our meetings, I don't talk a lot, because I'm listening, because I'm still in the baby stages, in my opinion, of this business, and I want to learn a lot. And so they're giving out so much good information. They don't even realize they're giving out the information that's super valuable. I mean, people would pay thousands and thousands of dollars for this kind of information to make their business run so well. And they don't know what's out there to get, or they don't know how to go about reaching out to these people to get that information. And I've just been blessed. I mean, it's just been put before me, and I haven't even had to work that hard to get it. And it's absolutely amazing. I've, without giving all the secrets of Fight Club, there's several police officers at Boise Police Department that have either started their own businesses or starting their own businesses because of what I did. They're absolutely amazing. It's amazing. I had a guy call me last night. A guy called me. He was a cop in California. He came to Idaho with his family. Same thing. He started a business doing water features, landscaping water features, and he says it's just taken off. And I just gave him ideas of, hey, do this. I go, I'm not the king of business. I don't know anything, but I'm telling you the things that have helped me, and I've got this from other people. And he started implementing those things, and he goes, I've already got a portfolio started. I got people calling me, and it's just, I mean, there's probably 5 or 6 people that are looking. They're looking to leave police work. It's sad, but they're being forced out by the, obviously the drama, but they're finding other avenues, and I can't take all the credit but I think they saw how successful I've been in the last year, and they're just like, Sergeant Tyner, how did you do that? And they're calling me on my days off, and they're like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? And
I love it.
And I just give them all the tidbits I can, and coach them up, from what I know. And I've obviously referred them to you guys, when they get to that point where they're ready to jump into the deep end of the pool. I've referred them to you guys all the time.
I appreciate it. Matthew Moses, who we work with very closely, he's a definite mentor in the group. You got Joshua Sperling, you got Joseph Martinez, you got Kellen Becker. Just wait, though. You were already mentoring. I kind of hinted that this was going to happen. You're like, I'm new and I'm starting out, but now that you're describing 5 or 6 guys you're already talking to. So you will see, as some new folks come in, they're going to gravitate to you because you're like, hey, I've been in this a year. I've been in this 2 years. Look at what's happened. I wanted you to give your honest opinion. So Moses says, had I joined Brand Builders when I first got started, it would have saved me about 2 to 5 years with all the stuff I had to learn. Would you back that up as true?
100%. I think people don't understand how to run businesses very well, and all the things that you have to do today in today's world of business. I didn't know any of that stuff with the social media. I had no idea how any of that stuff worked. And I ran into another hauler yesterday because the husband called him and the wife called me, and we both showed up at the job to bid the job. Well, the guy got there like a half an hour before me and was already doing the job. And he was the typical Sanford and Son guy. He's probably my age, maybe even older. And I could tell he was struggling, you know, and he told me what he charged for the job. And I was just like, oh my gosh, dude, you're killing yourself and you're killing me with these prices. And after the client went back in the house, I went up to the other hauler and I said, dude, you need to raise your prices, man, because you're going to make $20 on this job, but you're lifting up cement, you know, and
Right.
you know, and I go, dude, you can charge more. You don't have to charge $75 to lift up 1,000 pounds worth of cement into your utility trailer.
Right.
I mean, and so having the knowledge of brand builders and Alpha Media Group will launch you in the right direction. You just have to do, obviously you got to do your part. You got to follow up and do the things that they're telling you to do or coaching you to do. And I'm assuming every area is going to be a little bit different in geography and what have you. But if you follow the principles that Alpha Media Group and brand builders provide you, it's hard to not be successful.
Yeah, and we've learned that too, is people have to put in the work. And I tell people up front, Ryan tells people, because Ryan doesn't accept everybody. Ryan took over as CEO. One of my best friends is now my boss, and he laughs when I say that, but he really is my boss now. But I got the better end of the deal, just so everybody knows, because I get to write and I get to coach. I get to be like the grandpa that comes in and sugars everybody up, you know. So I love my job. But he says, Jeff, I'm not taking everybody. And I said, okay, I understand that. He goes, no, like I'm really not taking everybody. So 8 out of 10 people that he talks to don't even get to be in Alpha Media Group. And then after that, only a few get chosen to be in brand builders. So he's become really selective, which I think has really helped out with our brand. I was a little like, okay, where's this going? What are you doing? But he just made it more selective. And he had told me, he goes, you know, we were talking, and Harvard Community College and Library, they have the same books, so to speak. They have the same learning resources or access to them. But Harvard has mastered the art of raising its standard and saying no. So we don't want to say yes to every client. We don't want to charge bottom dollar, or you become the community college, you become the library. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to own a library. I want to own a business that can provide for others, take care of my family. And maybe there's very profitable libraries out there, don't get me wrong, but the whole idea of it, right, that you're just offering something for free, there's consumers out there that expect that on all sides. So when you're talking about price, it's not about money. I know your principles and standards, and you and I've talked, and we're not doing this to go buy a Lamborghini. We're doing this to put food on the table, put fuel in the gas tank. And when people are boasting about money, in my mind, they're just, hey, look at how much octane I have in my tank. It's like, it doesn't relate for me. I don't understand that part. I just know it's necessary. But in the sense that you're describing, it is really on value. What has that been like as a business, putting out your value, saying, hey, this is what I charge, this is what I'm worth? What has been the community response to you put it? Because you provide a valuable service. I've seen your jobs. I've seen testimonies from your clients. Outstanding, by the way. So, but you're putting out a high value service, high value delivery. Describe to me that journey and arriving at that process. Because I think what you described, that guy who was on the job, is a struggle for a lot of people. So some of the people watching this might be like a brand new junk remover. It might be someone like, this is the Matt and JoJo right here, that there are, you know, hey, they saw us talking and dialoguing about junk removal. Now they want to get into it. Speak to them for a second. Help them start out with value. What would you tell them?
For me, I'm just like everybody else that just started. You have no idea where you're supposed to start off on pricing and how much that's worth to you. But I knew I didn't want to work for low wages. And you look, you know, this is a physically demanding job. And then when you start looking at all the costs associated with running the business, I mean, your fees have to be relatively high in order to make a profit. And I'm not talking, like you said, I don't own a Lamborghini. You know, I'm a middle-class guy, and I live comfortably, but you have to charge a rate that provides you the things you need in your life. But I think if you explain to people, hey, this is a problem I'm going to make go away, and I've learned a lot about how I talk to people, because I was never involved in sales. So when I go and bid jobs, this is total learning curve for me. Drinking with a fire hose, right? And I've learned a lot of little tips and tricks from you guys about what to say and how to say the things, and it's worked great. Especially up in here in Idaho, in our area, people are, I would say, way more physically conservative, and a little bit they hold on to their money a little bit tighter. But when you explain to people, like I get there and I talk to them, I say, okay, this is what I charge. I charge by the load, and it looks like it's going to be about this much, and we're going to make that problem go away for you. And that's how I tell people. I go, I'm going to make your problem go away, and you're going to be so happy. And I think that's the value I'm bringing to them, because people want their problems to go away. I think I did a video on it where I said, everybody is so busy right now. I mean, men and women are working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, in their jobs. And then they have all their personal life stuff, their marriage, their kids, and what have you. And they just don't have time to do everything that needs to be done, or they doesn't seem like they do. So I basically, the value I'm giving is like, I'm giving you free time, because most people, they're like, well, how? Well, I can go do this for cheaper. Yeah, you can, but you're going to spend an hour and a half loading up your own trailer, and then you're going to spend 30, 40 minutes driving to the landfill, and then another 30 minutes at the landfill, and then you're going to come home. I mean, by the time you do everything, you're going to spend a couple hours of your weekend that you only get 52 Saturdays and 52 Sundays a year. So, if you're going to spend one of them doing junk removal, is it worth it to you? Or you could just pay me and I go make that stuff disappear for you, and you can have a cold beverage and and go play golf with the kids, or whatever it is that you want to do, whatever that thing is for them. And that's how I sell the value. I think that's, like I've said, that time is our most valuable asset, and by hiring me, I'm giving you more of your most valuable asset.
Wonderful. I love how you phrase that. I love seeing everything about that. We can do a call just on that subject that you talked about right there. But to sum up what I gathered is, in business and entrepreneurship, you're creating a gain or removing a pain, right? You're creating a gain or you're removing a pain. And in business, we're solving problems. We're professional problem solvers. When you were in the police force, you were a problem solver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you're in this business, you're a problem solver. The difference is here, and I was describing this to someone, I said, look, I have clients with problems. I asked this in a team meeting. I said, how many of our clients have problems? And Ryan piped up. I was trying to wait for some of the newer folks, other folks to speak, but Ryan piped up and he goes, all of them do. That's why they hire us. I said, all right, Ryan, we'll give everybody else a chance to answer. Of course, that was the question was, everybody has problems. That's why they hire us. We're here to solve a problem. They maybe don't understand marketing. They can't do a lot of things that we do. There's all these algorithmic changes. There's updates. There's hosting. There's stuff that just the average person and business owner, even if you've had some education, you have to stay up to it day to day, like being on the stock market. You have to watch everything that's going on. So we're doing the same thing. We're solving a time problem. Hey, I don't want to spend all the time doing it. So 80-20, we're doing 80% of the work, we feel, but clients are required to do some of the work. But again, you want to be solving a problem. What you want to avoid is problem clients or problem people. So when you were in the force, it was like, okay, now you have all these outside problems coming in. You're not just solving a problem, you're trying to combat things from both sides, right? There's all this media stuff going on, and it gets distracting. So what I've seen grow in you and the appeal is, look, I can show up. There's a beginning point, there's a starting point. I don't have the news media on my back about this or that. I don't have a riot down the street. You're there to take care of a problem because all your clients have problems. That's what you're hired for. You're hired to solve those. But sometimes it's identifying what that problem is, and which you've done so great at in that explanation. So I've learned this from having a 5-year-old daughter and having a 46-year-old wife. It's like, okay, what they told me the problem is may not be the problem. And with customers, it's sometimes the same thing, right? They call and they say, well, how much? Well, Okay, sir, this is Eric. How can I help you? Yeah, I have this, junk that needs to get removed. How much is it going to cost? And I'll change, as you see me doing training, I'll change the narrative. Well, sir, when are you looking to have this done? Oh, okay. So now we're talking about time. I just changed the subject, right? We're not talking
Right.
about money is obviously the thing. We want to honor people's we want to honor their home, their wallet, and their time. We want to honor all three things all the time. Their budget, of course. We're all here trying to raise families and live our lives and do that. So I am sensitive to that, but I realize a lot of time that's not the issue. The issue is they need it done yesterday. They don't want to do it themselves. That's why they would reach out to me if I was you as a junk remover. Look, hey, that's why you called me, because you need me to solve something for you. But I think a pitfall a lot of people will step into as a junk remover is they'll let the conversation become about price. And it's your job, you're the professional, and it's your job to frame the conversation. You are the professional, whether you're day one, you're year one, or you're year 10. If I'm your attorney and I contact you the night before, I say, okay, Eric, we got a big day tomorrow. I'm going to go in, I'm going to talk to the jury. What do you think, man? Should we go with guilty, not guilty? What do I say? Like when I get there and I'm representing you, like, give me some keywords you want me to say. I mean, if I was you, I'd be freaking out. Like, how the hell is this dude my attorney? Right. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
that's not the job. It's like, hey, in marketing, it's like, hey, I need you to do that. Please and thank you times 10. I need you to do this, this, and this. If that offends you, then you can't be my client. I'm sorry. I'm representing you. I work with you. You're technically my boss, but we're following my program here, and this is what I'm doing, saying, hey, look, this is what works. And it's so important for people to project that same confidence in your field. It's like, hey, you're there. The last thing you want the client to feel is insecure or you don't know what you're doing, right? You have to come in and say, hey, so I use that analogy of the attorney because someone is a professional junk remover, somebody's a professional attorney, really no difference. You are a profession. The client is putting their trust and their finances in you. So they're investing in you. You have to represent that business well and be that professional. Look, ma'am, sir, John or Mary, John, I'm here to take care of this. I'm going to solve the problem. I'm going to make it go away, like you said. That's what people miss a lot of the times is the confidence, and they'll go in and, okay, well, how about if I do it for this, or how about I do it for that? I don't want to hear that as a client. You should know your prices. You're the professional. You're the business. Don't let me guess at what you should be charging. You know, I hired you because I want you to come do it. And so for me as a consumer, I'm going to pay for that professionalism. I don't want the cheapest attorney. I don't want the cheapest junk remover. That sounds dangerous. Where did that guy come from? You know, what has he been on? Because there isn't a huge barrier of entry to get into this field. So
Right.
I want someone who's business minded. I love working with people that have military background, first responder background, a veteran background, because I know, hey, they've had some training, they've had some accountability, they've had some discipline in an area that I don't have to worry about them as much being at my house and my home. So that's what I feel about sales is it's not just what you say, it's not a pitch necessarily. It's framing the situation that the client feels confident and secure in investing with you. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree 100%. You just, like you said, you say it way better, so I don't want to reiterate your words, but yeah, you explain the situation to them and how you're going to make that problem go away for them, and most people are going to go with you. I've had so much more success, and obviously for the newer people out there, it's lack of confidence for sure. Especially when you're bidding jobs, because I had several people when I first started. They're like, they could not believe what I was charging, and they're like, "Oh, you need to lower your prices. You need to lower your prices." And these are guys that were not in the industry. They were just. And I said, "No, that's not what I'm being coached to do. My time is valuable, and I'm worth this, and this is what I started doing. And I've actually raised my prices to
Good.
come more in alignment with the national chains, that are out there. I mean, obviously, I'm still probably less than they are, but I guess my prices have gone up with my confidence. So the more I've done the work and the more I've learned, I think it's just like anything else. You take a brand new police officer, he's worth this much out on the street, right? He doesn't know what he's doing. He or she does not know what they're doing yet, but they're brand new police.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay them something. But usually about the 5 and 10 year mark, they're worth some money because they know what they're doing. They've learned some things. Well, and they're more confident. And you can see it in police work or in, for me, junk removal. As I've done this for more, a year now, I'm being much more confident when I deal with people on the phone and when I deal with them in person. It's I just know, I know more, and I'm more confident. And like you, I don't take all customers. I still make mistakes, but I'm much more confident in saying, nope, this is the price I'm going to charge. And if they say no, I go, okay, well, hey, I try and figure out if there's some other way I can salvage a job or a sale, but I'm not afraid to lose one anymore. And I think that's why the entry level people are so afraid of not getting the job that they lower their price to so much just to get the job. And maybe I was just in a different position where I could afford to do that. I had a full-time job, and it was just side money to start with. But now it's full-time, but I'm much more confident in how I approach the customers.
It's like lowering your standards to get a date. What is the outcome going to be if you lower your standards to get a date? Like, I married Mrs. Glass, I married Regina, and again, probably a whole nother conversation, but she had a different standard than other girls that I had dated. Really, me, it was my early life with, lower standards, and I'd meet girls at bars and this and that. Having my walk with God changed things, and I met a woman that was really about that. Like, hey, you're not, you can be my friend, but I'm not looking to date around and do all this. And I thought, man, okay, so me as an entrepreneur, I'm challenged, right? I'm like, okay, challenge accepted. But what I found was most attractive about her was the standards, but it was backing it up. And we've done that in our own business, in our own industry. It's like, okay, team, we can always be better. What can we do to grow? What can we stack to make this product and service that we give to be better? I don't want to be the cheap company out there. I want to be the company that provides 10 to 20 times the value. Okay. So in our industry, kind of the same thing. It's like when you go with the cheapest, you're going to get that cheapest result a lot of times. And so I don't think you can be both. I don't think you can be the cheap guy and the valuable guy. I wanted to get your feedback on this one. I was talking to Joseph Martinez about this, but there's a lot of big companies out there. McDonald's, Starbucks, Walmart. You might have heard of some of these, obviously. 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Nothing against 1-800-GOT-JUNK. I have a lot of respect for Cameron Herold, and they really help set a trend for an industry. So honestly, I think all of us owe them a little bit of a debt of gratitude, at least being thankful in our minds that they actually set an industry by doing this. Brian Scudamore and Cameron Herold really set the path. But I've been on this thing lately about, can you be the biggest and be the best? Can you be both? And where I've really arrived at is, my answer is firmly no. Because businesses that really want to be the biggest, they want to have 20 trucks, 50 trucks, all that. I believe in any industry, whether it be the hamburger, whether it be the plastic products from China sold at Walmart, whether it be the Honda or the Ford. And at one point in my business, I wanted that. I wanted to be the biggest. I wanted to be the biggest marketing company out there. We're located from Hawaii to Spain. We have a lot of clients. That's great. But if we never took on another single client, we just served who we have, that would be okay too. I'd be good with that, because really what I'm focused on is value and quality. So I think people that get into this industry, I want to be the biggest, I want to be the best. And I've been telling people, well, pick a lane, pick which one you want to be, because the bigger you get, the quality is going to go down. You're going to have to hire more people. There's more room for mistakes. You're not going to be in charge of everything. So I think there's a lot of value in the person that just wants to have himself, a truck, and another guy, maybe 3 or 4 trucks. I think someone who's doing that person, guy or gal, is setting themselves up to be the best. Metaphorically, I want a Lamborghini, meaning I want quality. I want something that's handcrafted, that's wonderfully put together. I don't want to be the assembly line company. So I'd like to get your honest feedback about the difference between being the biggest or the best. What are the goals for Full House? And how would you answer that question? Can you be the biggest and the best in an industry?
I think you've already said it. You can't be both. I think the hamburger analogy is perfect. I mean, you can go to McDonald's and you can get a hamburger, or you can go down to, a local pub and you're going to pay $15 or $18 for a hamburger, but it's it's a hamburger, all right? I mean, it's a
That's where
good
we're
burger.
going when I come out. That's where we're going. I'll remind you.
I mean, you could. They're both hamburgers, but one's an assembly line burger, and the other one's, a custom made burger, right? Um, yeah, my goal is not to be the biggest. First, I don't think I have the business acumen to run something big like that, and I think it's just a lot of headaches that I'm not comfortable with dealing with. I have no desire to do that. Would I like to have one or two trucks where I was not on the truck anymore and I had a couple of crews? That would be awesome. And I've seen what I can do with just me and a helper. And financially, I know what I'm capable of. If I had another truck and I could afford to provide good careers for my drivers and workers, I mean, that'd be awesome to be able to have a couple of, 4 guys or gals working on trucks and maybe an office person, and I'm just kind of managing that, a small team of people doing the work. That would be my goal, because then it's a lot easier to keep your standards high and with a small group of people than it is a large group. If you're 1-800 Got Junk and you got 5 trucks and you got 25 people you're trying to manage, it's your span of control is,
Right.
in law enforcement we call it span of control, and I'm sure the same is for the private sector. But in certain industries, when you're in an office, if you are supervising 25 people and you're all in one office building and you're in the same floor, it's easier to manage 25 people and the quality of product that they're providing. But if you're in a career where people are all over a city doing different things and you're not there to watch over what they're doing, your quality control drops quite a bit. So as far as making sure that they're doing it to the standards that you want done. So yeah, I would rather keep it small, keep it because I have no desire to grow it big. But yeah, I think 1 or 2 trucks is all I really need. And I think I would feel comfortable at, and who knows, maybe I get that, and then I'm like, oh, I can do 2 more trucks. But for now, I know financially I would be very well taken care of. Even if I just had 1 full-time truck with 2 guys on it, I would be doing just fine, because I'm very conscious about keeping my customers happy and providing that service and the level of service that they want. I mean, I literally am doing what you guys say. Before I leave a job, I'm like, hey, are you happy with what we did? Or are you satisfied? Is there anything else that we can do? While I'm there, I'm asking those questions to make sure my customers are happy before I leave. And then I hit them with, hey, can I send you a link to my Google My Business page? So if you like what we did, can you leave me a review? If they're not happy, I don't do that. But I haven't had any really unhappy customers. I've had close calls, but I've been very fortunate, because I've learned how to take care of people. I'm 51 years old, so I've learned how to deal with people. And I posted today about I'm a 5th degree black belt in verbal judo. So I'm always able to smooth people over. I'm also able to make people mad too, but I, as a business owner or entrepreneur, providing the good customer service, I think, is vital, especially when you're starting out, because you get a bad name, you're gonna, sink the boat before it even leaves the port, right?
Sure.
So keeping your quality control high, I'm not at the point to release. I have a guy that helps me. He's 17 years old and he's a hard worker. But I watch him like a hawk, and I'm like coaching him that do it this way, do it that way. And maybe I have to let things go a little bit in order to let him learn on his own. I don't know. I'm still just terrified that something bad's going to happen. As I get more confidence and I get more confidence in him, I'll let the leash out a little bit longer each time. And eventually I told him, I go, when you get a little older and a little bit more mature and I can trust you some more, maybe you'll be a leader of a truck crew, and he was just like, oh right. Yeah, he's all excited about it, but he's got to earn that, he's not just gonna give it to him. So
takes
keeping
time.
that quality control. Yeah. Keeping that quality control high is important.
Yeah, and I think, and honestly too, the fear doesn't necessarily just go away. It doesn't just disappear. I've been an entrepreneur now, gosh, probably as long as you were an officer. You know, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm 42, so I've been doing this since I was my senior year of high school. I've been doing something
Wow.
entrepreneurial. I've been marketing and consulting and investing for a long time. But the fear doesn't go away. It's kind of like being a parent, you know, when the kids are coming home late or they're running around the neighborhood and you're wondering where they were. You have that little fear as a parent sometimes, like, okay, what happened? Are they okay? What's going on? It doesn't go away. It's not like the longer I parent, the less I fear about my kids. I learned how to place it with God. I learned how to just process
Mhm.
it. I learned how to deal with it in different ways, but knowing that it's there. Fear is imagination. So I'm a creative writer, so I don't think my imagination's hopefully ever going to go away. So I'm going to have a strong imagination, which means I'm going to have spurts of fear because my brain is going to go towards that sometimes. But danger is real. Fear is imagination. Fear is a perception that something's going to happen. But your job as a boss is to protect the client and your team member from dangerous situations, right? So sometimes fear kind of ignites that and does that. But it's been wonderful talking with you, Erik. I could go on for hours with you. I feel like we're just literally having a fireside chat. Uh, Give us a way to reach you. Tell us your website, your phone number. This video is going to be on the channel here, on your channel, on my channel. So let's give everyone a chance to reach out and hear more about what you do.
Okay, so if you want to get a hold of us, the business name is Full House Junk Removal. The phone number is 208-994-2429. You can check us out on our website, which is www.fullhousejunkremoval.com. You can also check us out on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram.
Wonderful. And we can see you starring in Idaho on your YouTube channel. You can go and Google junk removal Idaho, and you're going to see that logo. Behind that logo, you're going to see this brand that's in the making. Super proud of your progress, how you're doing. You've done a wonderful job, Erik. You're a huge asset to us as well, and brand builders. You're going to see that more and more as you grow and you're mentoring folks. But again, I want to thank you for your service to our country. I have a lot of respect and honor for our boys and ladies in blue. I should say men and women in blue. And we're in a very interesting time. I'm very excited to have you on the junk removal side, but it's sad that we're losing people on that side. So I hope our country can come back to its senses at some point and see how important these people really are. And you've done an incredible job by serving. That's a lot of years, but now you're still serving. It's just taken a different form. So
That's
thank you
right.
for being here. To everyone out there, thank you for taking some time to watch this dialogue between Erik and I. We'll chat with you soon. Take care.